Just before I begin, I would like to thank the 36th subscriber. Unfortunately, YouTube won't show me, your name to give you a shout out, but I just wanted to thank you before we get the show on the road. Alright. So, I am Rich, this is my channel, RMX Models, and welcome to Mamoli Lexington Part 11. This is my daughter, who has decided all these little silver pieces need to be scattered everywhere. Nyo-nyo, sweetums. Nyo-nyo. Yeah, you made it into an intro. You're moving up in the world, aren't you? Hello there! Welcome to Mamoli Lexington Part 11. I am Rich, this is my channel, RMX Models, and what I got here is, again, the young one. And the other young one. And the third one is watching, I think it's Phineas and Ferb in the other room or something. Alright. So anyways, and I've got a, nope. Yup. Nya-nya. She's like just turned 3, so she's still very curious about everything. You'll see it, Seth, but you see with your eyes, not your hands. Hey, buddy. Huh? Oh. Easy, Christian. Easy, but no. Yeah, I can't have you up here. Sorry, buddy. You're just too grabby. Alright, so, hey, I'm Rich. This is my channel, RMX Models. This is Mamoli Lexington Part 11. Alright, so last time, as I bring this thing in, and then down to get more focus on the tabletop, I finished off. I was working on getting these Canons all up and polished. Yeah, a couple of, I was working a little earlier today, trying to, do some filming with kids. That didn't go so good because, well, sometimes kids get a little pokey and everything else. But, so yeah, gotta, finish these. But along with that, what I also found last time is this thing. Now, yeah, there we go. Just get this thing nice and focused. So yeah, as we can all see now, so these guys right here, turns out, not really all that, I guess, good for this. Not all that, representative, at least in terms of having all these, like, lines and stuff. And the more I look, the more I dislike. But I did a little look on Wikipedia just to see, because, it was a revolutionary war. It's not like the colonies were, gonna be awash with the money to, fund a navy. And I was thinking, okay, so, would they have had a navy or not? And it turned out, I think the British had actually come up with some measures to prevent that, i.e. trying to prevent, sufficient industry from forming in their colony to be able to make their own cannons and whatnot, or something like that. But they still had their cannons from either capturing them from the British or from, they may have snuck in a little bit. I think they got some from the French, but I'm not so sure, and I don't think it was all that money. And either way, I don't think it was any on the Lexington. So, that left me with a bit of a dilemma. Either do the 3D printed ones anyway and just add the fleur-de-lis for, sake of fun, or not, because, well, yeah, fleur-de-lis is going to take a bit of time, and, well, that, wouldn't be accurate anyway and all that. So, left with that, I decided not to make a 3D print with these, to change them out for, say, French guns. But I've said it before, I will say it again, I have standards. They may not necessarily be high standards, but they are standards. And this, yeah, this big of a defect here, and all that, I really can't. I cannot justify trying to work this into something good. So, what do? Well, I have an answer. I'm going to make a substitute for this, and that is going to be printed. Printed on the resin printer. Put it up over here. It's like some kind of nice figurehead and stuff. And now the question becomes, if I'm going to do that, why don't I go ahead now and do the cannons up at least? Foreshadowing! And spoiler, yeah, I end up doing exactly that. Yeah, it's... Oh, Jesus. How did I live that through? You know what? I think, yeah, that sealed it. That sealed it. Alrighty, so in the spirit of make my own thing here, I got this thing going because this is the only printer I've got that's got enough resolution to do the job. At least do the job to my satisfaction. Alright, so I'll let that, Okay, this thing said to shake, but now I'm seeing a whole hell of a lot of air bubbles. Not so sure following those directions was such a good idea. Well, either way, put that back there. A little thing I did create, 3D printed, was a way to keep the kids out of this entertainment center. So it's kind of become my kids can't break in cabinet. Yeah, that little red thing you saw there, I actually 3D printed that on. Well, Fred right here. Yay. Anyways, I'm about to break this into that computer screen, and that way I'm going to show you all about how I actually made these in the computer. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so now I'm recording. Recursion! I might as well just show you what I've done here. So, there we go. And here's the parts I created. Now, some of y'all are wondering, why is this thing that's supposed to be that wavy figurehead, touching this cannon here? Well, the answer to that is that's just how I modeled them. They're three separate, parts according to Onshape. I think of them as bodies. I use Onshape just because it's very similar to SolidWorks. And it's free. The big thing is that it's free, but being similar to SolidWorks makes it beat out other free offerings like FreeCAD, which is a thing. I guess there's some other ones too that you could use that don't require money. Like I think it's OpenSCAD's another one. I guess if you're like a coding whiz, you could. I guess there's something called Open Cascade upon which FreeCAD is built. Okay, and enough of me blabbering about false alternatives to software. I heard somewhere, I'm not sure how true this is, that there's a free version of Autodesk Fusion 360, but I haven't touched that nearly enough to even call myself an inkling of proficient. I'm much better at this as far as I know. So, right, I will hide this and you'll get to how the Canon was built. You'll see over here I got this Canon features. It's a little folder I made. I made a profile. I sketched it, I revolved it, that's this button right here. Essentially, revolve says, take an axis. This is now the center of a magical cylinder around which whatever faces you're revolving revolve around. So if I had a FU rich up here, it'd be a circle, but the cross section would be FU rich. Then after that, I did a few other little things. I added these, and that was about the extent of the Canon itself. The real magnum opus here is actually the gun carriage. So I tried to replicate that wood setup that you get on the original. And after that, replicating that, I also had basically what I did is I measured what was there, and I added a little detail, which is this right here, these little, bosses off of the wheels, just gonna look like there's an actual axle there. And then this to be like a block, because I think they use some angled block to actually aim the damn guns. Alright. Well, that's all nice and good, but how do we get this from my computer into that Anycubic Photon? Well, first I laid out this thing here, and these are all supports. You need them because of the way this works. Is it flashes an image onto a UV screen, onto a sorry, an LCD display, which is liquid crystal, which is long and short. Electricity turns light on or off that shines through this thin membrane, and there's a UV light under it which cures your resin. So by selectively darkening and lightening bits of that display and moving a platen down and up, you layer by layer build this. Let's see, layer thickness 0.05. I'm going to go 0.025. I think we're allowed to do that for this. Exposure time 12. Off time 5. That, I'm going to go ahead. I think that's right. I'm going to actually reduce that, because if that was 5 and 12, Actually, this is still in millimeters. You know what? My head is up my butt. This will be fine. Okay, good, yay. Okay, sounds great. Yep, that's the slicing button. I will shove this into desktop, and we will just call it, Mamlex thing. And here we are. You slice. Okay, so I built this computer for speed. Back in... Okay, story time. Why not? So I built this computer about 2014, actually. And I built it for speed. My original thought was, hey, let's get something that maybe later I could crank up the speed a bit and use to do finite element methods and for analysis and stuff, and try to have my own computer that could maybe support, let's just say, independent designing, if you will. Well, I should probably have gotten a different graphics card for that. One that's actually built for CAD, because apparently they are different. The workstation one versus the gaming one, it's like, I think it's like number of polygons and how fast you got to render them. Because for the, workstation one, you can render it slowly, but it's going to be, oh god, the polygons. And I think the other way is like, it don't need many polygons, and oh god, you would better render it instantly. I think is how that, works. Like the gaming one being the instant one, or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so that took about a fifth of that. Now, if I had a bottle, I could, drink a fifth, and that'd be good, too. But, no. So, while this is slicing up, you'll see that I've cocked these all at some weird angle. Now, I do that because you want to start printing these pieces fairly small. And you want to expand and build outwards. And you want this thing that it's connected to be a bit bigger than this, because as it's going down the platen... okay, do I have, like... Darn, I should have opened up Paint. I don't have, like, things. So just, so pretend this is the platen here. So what happens is, and this will be like, the surface is, the layer that's being flashed. So it goes down, flash, goes up, goes down, there's a layer, flash, goes up, a layer. The problem is that this doesn't just stick to the platen. It also sticks a little bit to the film bottom of the tank. So if you don't have enough thing stuck to your platen, you pull up, and oops, it doesn't, the piece doesn't come up. And then you get this big blob on your tray that you have to clean. And okay, why did it do that? I didn't want it to do that. Why did it do that? Okay, computer, just because I named you Hal doesn't mean you have to do weird things to me to prove your sentence. Okay. So yeah, there is that. Guess I'll take you on the guided tour of the CAD model while that's wrapping up. So what that's quote-unquote slicing means is the software is just, from what I understand, taking those 3D models that it's created, turning them into like the images to flash in that their printer. But as I was getting at, the way I got the dimensions on these is I just measured the thing and then took the close estimates. And then after doing a few things, I, this is an extruded cut, this is an extruded, you know, boss. Then that basically means if you extrude it is you take your cross section, say this, and then you expand it in a direction, and now there's your shape. So here's your cross section, you go in a straight line, there's your shape. And so there's other couple of tricks I did too. Like I had this model in different bodies just to prevent some issue, to make things easier, so I can, you know, do one side of it and mirror it. Yeah, I've learned that mirroring the cutting and features and stuff, you know, some software does do it well, but it's better just to, in my experience, make your bodies, flip them around, and then, you know, merge everything together with this here Boolean function. Well, I'm sure there's a few, actually. Yeah, there's a couple involved. There's one right here, too. Yeah, that's for the wheels, initial bits. It may even not be just for that. It might be for... No, okay, I think it's actually for that. And then, of course, I fill in bits, because don't need all that spare space. So then I got this, yep, and then this guy right here. So what I did is I made an extrusion. I did a fillet, which rounds the edge. And then, after a little bit of work, I did a sweep, which takes a profile you create and moves it along a path, which is this curve right here, which was created by the fillet. But what I did was I said to remove that sweep, so it just takes it and cuts it out of this body rather than adding it to it, say. Interesting thing with sweeps I have found is that you got to be careful how your sketch or your profile that's going to be swept is oriented relative to the path. Because if you do it weird, the sweep will go weird, and then you'll have a bad time. Or like in this case, it'll just say, "I'm not going to do this. I'm on strike." And so that's how that happened. Okay. Oh, hey, cool. It's done. 1 hour and 36 minutes. I will show the preview. So as you can see, I mentioned those layers, and that's about how that worked. So I get those first few layers. Whee! Things just kind of merge together. Nothing should magically appear. Whee! So yeah, it's going to print that layer by layer by layer by layer by layer. Now, I don't see anything that immediately comes out to me as... Okay, so it started there. As, you know, horrible. So... Okay, cool. So it's going up. So as you can see, it's tiny bit by tiny bit. Slowly going along. Hold the phone. Okay, I see what's happening there. It's actually trying to... Okay, I get what's happening. Oh, this first couple of layers is what's called a raft. It's to help everything else stick. So that looks reasonable to me, oddly enough. Oddly enough. Well, okay then. Let's hope for no mystery globs, huh? Where is... Okay, so I have a USB stick shoved in here. I don't know at all. Okay, cool, neat. I guess I used this thing for this before. Hooray. Open a new window, because why not? It's called Windows. It should have lots of windows. All the windows. All the windows open and slowing down my computer even more. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Up here we go. Mamoli Lexington. Bonk. 13 megabytes. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, shove it into the printer gently, and then I've already zeroed it, so that ought to work. And I'm going to go ahead and make this thing happen. And I've just taken about 13 minutes of your time just talking about getting this thing printed. Alright, just to waste more of your time, so as you can see that platen there lowered up, but I'm waiting for a specific sound. Let's see if I can hear it. Should be about a minute now. Any second now. Any second now. Okay, you hear that click? That click is a good sound. I was hoping to hear more of like a shunk though. But that click means that I am actually, you know, attaching to the platen. So I'll listen one more time, see if I get better results, you know, a more sharper ka-chunk or not. I mean, I don't want it to go so hard that it breaks this thing, otherwise I'm going to have toxic resin all over a floor that, like, 3-year-olds crawl all over. That's not even an exaggeration. Maybe I should, like, get, like, a tray under here. That would be pertinent. That would be a prudent measure. Don't be surprised if you see something like that under this next time. I know, normally I tell OSHA that the only, you know... Okay, that was a bit more solid. I think we're good. I know. Normally, Rich, aren't you the guy who gives OSHA, you know, the middle finger? Not really, because I understand what they're there for, but seriously, I don't care about me. I care about the kids. I don't know, guys. When they said the government was coming for my guns, this wasn't what they meant, right? And now I'm going to make more YouTube vids, Jay, so just wanted to give you that heads up. Okay, guys. Anyways. Yeah, my kid's over there. Let's pull this up a bit, shall we? Yeah, there we go. So, I make this thing. It's all great. I'm finally ready to start making real progress towards that there, You're fine, buddy. You can get close to them and scan them, buddy. It's okay. He's playing Subnautica. But as you can see, we now no longer have a steering wheel. Long story short, I took some footage with this camera, and then the stand must have got wobbly or something because the camera fell here on the steering area. Yeah. I am not happy about that. I am actually quite upset. Seems like it bashed this boat really good. Yeah, I know rock music isn't the most appropriate after you've bashed a boat, but I am making guns, so I figured it kind of fits. Okay, not those kind of guns. Yeah, I really am playing that joke up way too much. But as you can see, I actually trim them off, you know, file them down. And that drill, actually, I looked up what the scale would be for the likely guns on the thing, and I tried to get reasonably close to it with the drill bit that I chose. Yeah, the little divot I put in the front of the cannons actually worked really good to guide my pin vise. And, well, as you'll see, or at least I saw later, it did end up looking really good. Alrighty. Say please. Say please to what, Jay? I don't think the sea monster's too inclined to say please. Okay, some cute moments you just gotta include. He was playing Subnautica, so that's why he, you know, talked about it like that. So yeah, the other thing you'll see me doing here with that scriber is magnifying those lines I put in to make it look like it was made of multiple planks. This actually turned out pretty good. I put all the supports on one side to actually kind of mask the fact it was printed when it's painted. And again, I'm reasonably happy with how it turned out. Alright, so once again we have hands other than my own probably on the screen. Hey, sweetums! Those are snips. You see that? That is 3D printed resin parts. Yep, Daddy made that. Daddy made that with his 3D printer, and now what we're gonna do... Yep, I'm going to take this one off with the snips, see? Daddy's just going to put his thumb in between you and all the little bits to make sure it doesn't hurt, come off and get in the eye. That would really suck. Oh, don't mess with that. There's Daddy's pin vise. Just push the scalpel back while we're at it. There you go. And now she is fascinated by the dried glue. Isn't this an interesting thing, huh? She gets interested in the other 3D printer, the FDM, every once in a while. Right? She'll just look at it, you know, do her little happiness she does when she sees something that really looks interesting or catches her attention. Again, all with the cute moments while I'm making guns. Okay, 3D printed models of guns. I mean, okay, I could add some other jokes, but I won't. So yeah, what I'm doing now is, in this, besides some of the little arms that held the cannons up on their carriages actually didn't quite get printed. So I took some of that supports that came up and glued them in the place of those, so that it, you know, those would still be there. Other than that, this is just describe the panel lines, etc. One thing I can mention though about 3D printing really quick is that you will get the best results if you dial your machine and everything together for your machine and situation. I had to do a bit of dialing in to get anything like this, and I'm sure I could dial it in better, but I figured I'd mention that, just, you know, give you a little help. Alright. That's the bad thing about doing it this way, is you get little marks. Since everything's on one side, it's actually quite easy to conceal, which is good. I chose that for just about that reason, actually. I wanted to make these things easy, you know, minimize the amount of supports on the little cannon bits, and knowing that there's like little nibs or divots when you clip off the, you know, support. Not going to have that luxury for the for when I do the little scale people that I originally bought this thing to make, but there are ways I can deal with that. Hey Chris, hey buddy, huh? Yeah. Oh hey, come on up, you can, it's okay. You want up, bud? Here, huh? Do you have another stinky? Do you have another stinky? I think he actually did, and I changed him in this footage. You'll also see his hand come up, and let's face it, it's just such a good background song, and, well, I guess the other thing is just a jab, because some people do call their guns their babies, and I'm just like, what? Anyway, so, yeah, you'll see I accent some of the details in the Canon carriage by, you know, using the scriber. I file some things away, I cut some things away with the scalpel, and yeah, eventually we get almost, but not quite, to the next step. Alright, cool. This music's putting me to sleep. It is cute though when the kids are on. It does like remind you of a, you know, I don't know, a kid-friendly kind of thing. Alright, here's something else. Alright, so I was at Walmart getting the stuff to get everything ready for the painting, and I found an opportunity I just couldn't pass up. And to the shock of just about everyone, no, he's going legit, no! And what can I say? I figured it'll improve the quality of the videos that little bit, and not only that, but it does look a bit more spit and polish, you know? So might as well go for it, nah? What did I? Oh, I forgot to drill this one. Okay. Oh, did I forget to drill that one too? It could be better drilled. The mat could also be better aligned, Rich, but it's better aligned in this picture. So as you'll see, I'm sanding down the cannons, cutting away some of the excess supports, using that into, of course, scribing where the lines need to be. But yeah, so after I do the last few of these cannons, sanding them down, drilling out the cannon holes, etc., I end up getting them all on the sheet and then pulling out the masking tape that I had originally gotten for this job, laying it out so it sticks onto this, you know, mat, and then laying down all the cannons and everything else so that I could, you know, prime them, which I think I may even start in this time lapse. Gathering all the paint, getting ready my airbrush, and then spraying everybody with primer. Now I know what someone might think, hey, you're spoiling your legit mat. Well, guess what? It had two sides, so I'm going to leverage that a little bit. So there you go. I'm spraying from all four sides, trying to avoid blind spots, but since I can't really tilt them in this way, I still end up with blind spots. Grumble, grumble, I guess. I don't know. Just gotta fill this with something. Why the chicken cross the road? Yeah, I don't know either. It just sounded like good filler material. Alright, here's non-filler. Alright, so 2 coats of primer later. Yeah, I honestly do believe, and even the wife agrees, that mine are better, at least for the carriages, and yeah, for the Canon too, I suppose. So now what do? I could 1, hand paint, or 2, do a whole more airbrush montage with these colors. The idea being base them with a color, and then paint them. That way you get a good, even base to work with. Indeed. Yeah, I'm not the... Yeah, I mean, I can work with the airbrush, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to do everything with the airbrush? Well, base coats are more even. That's true. Yeah, I'm going to do more airbrushing. Okay. Break out the airbrush yet again. Painting! So yeah, again, I use the airbrush. I usually do about 12 to 15 psi, in case you're wondering. And I paint 4 sides. I then do the brown for all the things to be wood. And I have the same problem as before with the primer, where I couldn't get it from like all angles, you know, from like 2 angles at least vertically. So there's issues there, but it doesn't come out too bad for a base coat. Alrighty, so back to the show we go. And now, what is this? It is aluminum foil. Now, some of you are probably, you know, if you're new, you're thinking, what? Why is he doing this? And if you're new and you've made it this far, I am impressed. I am impressed. Most people are asleep by now. At least that's what the analytics seem to tell me. But, yeah. So this is aluminum foil. And, I'm sure there's somebody out there that's seen me do this enough times, yeah, thinking, I give them some small amount of time before I not put on the aluminum foil and then have to go and replace this. You see, I use aluminum foil. Take it, put it on, and I push it as nice and firm as I can into all this. And what that does is it kind of gives me a disposable palette cover. And I can absolutely ruin to my heart's content. And then when it's all, you know, beyond saving, then I can replace it. It's waterproof. I haven't seen a paint yet that'll melt through it. Give them time. And along with other jokes, so I figured find music in the back. You know, yeah, the analytics aren't telling me that people are falling asleep. Because if they were, then my view thing would be like, you know, percentage viewed or time viewed would actually be all the way, because they'd be asleep and wouldn't turn it off. So here I'm just touching up these things, then you'll see me do some, like, brushing of things and stuff. I'll get into the detailing in the next time-lapse-y bit, but I talk about it now in slow motion first. So, did a little off-camera last night, or the other night. But there we go. There is the first Canon. Interestingly enough, it doesn't look nearly as bad as I think it looks. Like up close, or on the screen. I don't know, maybe I actually did an okay job. Okay, and then I see something like, yeah, no, I can't just let that go. Okay, hold up. Time for a little bit of touch-up. And of course, I go ahead and I touch this thing up with some of the nice brown paint. And then I go ahead and paint the other guy. So I do touch up with the brown beneath. Then after that, I mix a little bit of an oil wash, just a lot of the mineral spirits from AK and some of the black paint, the black oil paint. It was just cheap black oil paint. Also, as you saw, I paint those straps. I touch up the Canon. I dry brush gray onto it to try to give it some highlights. I dry brush also some of a lighter brown. You see there I am doing the ink wash bit. But I try to dry brush a lighter brown onto the wood to give that some highlights and make it look kind of like wood. And overall, the effect I find is pretty good. I also found that you don't really need primer for, these 3D printed. At least, the resin print that I have. Oh well, lesson for next time. Alright, so that wraps up Mamoli Lexington Part 11 again. I'm Rich, this is my show, I'm Rex Models. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the little thing I did with the outtakes at the beginning of this. But, yeah, alright. So the next time's going to be just finishing up these here Canons and whatnot, and then getting back on track and putting all the wood bits on. But that's going to be next time. So, till then, yeah, I'm Rich. Guess it's time for the standard YouTube dance of like, share, subscribe. Hooray! Alright, peace out for now.